Wanderlust, a strong desire or urge to wander or travel and explore the world. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are finally out here in the woods to put steel in the ground. Trapping season is officially getting started for me today. I'm only 22 days late. It started December 1st, but with work and deer season, I'm just getting a late start. So this is my second season trapping, and I have a couple new techniques and stuff that I'm hoping to try this season. I'm going to be running two lines. I've got the line here on my private property that I'm going to be running. That's going to be it's going to be two K9 sets, two raccoon sets, and I'm going to be setting for bobcat. So really, it's just going to be kind of across the board. I know there's a fox here in the area. I've seen on trail camera once, and I know that we've got a good sized pack of coyotes in this area as well. I caught 5 coyotes out of this property last season. I had a cat trap, or I'm sorry, I had a cat set out for almost 2 months and never had a single hit on it. But I do know that there are cats in the area. Some neighbors down the mountain have seen them. As you can see, I'm still wearing orange. It's still deer season here. There shouldn't be anybody hunting on this property since it is private property, but you just never know. And until about 2 weeks from now, I'll have the orange on every time I'm out here. And so this is kind of an overview of what we're going to do. Right here, this area is actually where I caught the majority of my raccoons last year. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a strong trail coming up this way, and then there's a strong trail that kind of comes through here, and then up that area where my deer stand is, there's another strong trail that comes through there. So this area, you can still kind of see what is torn up a little bit from the trap circles. I caught, like I said, several raccoons right here. I actually had a set right down there on one of those trees. I had a set here, and then I had a set up on that tree there. And I came down here, and there would be doubles, and I even had one triple last year where all 3 caught. There's a lot of young raccoons running these woods, so I caught probably 20 or 30 raccoons last season, but I only ended up taking 2 or dispatching 2 because all the rest of them were so young. And I know there's young ones again this season. I've had them on my trail camera, so hopefully if things work out, I'll be able to catch some of the bigger ones, and I'll just release the smaller ones again. I have no use for the little guys. Just let them grow, get some bigger, better fur. Just down here at the bottom of this property that I hunt and trap on, probably 50-60 yards, is a fire break, and I've got some most of the animals come up off of that fire break. So down here in the corner of the property is where I'm actually going to put my cat set and see if I can draw a cat up off of that fire break. I know it works kind of that way with coyotes and foxes, where they'll travel the roads in the path of least resistance, just like most other animals. So I'm hoping that I can use that same tactic on getting a bobcat in a trap this season. That's kind of my goal, is to get a cat. The coyote trapping was super fun. I really enjoyed that, and that's going to be pretty much my target animal this year, is the coyotes. still gonna do raccoons, but the big goal or the big catch this year would be a bobcat. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this bucket. I got my bucket with me. I'm gonna get my knee pads on. I'm gonna dig down and get my raccoon traps, and I'm gonna get this still on the ground, and we're gonna move on to the other side to get the canines out. Y'all stay tuned. All right, guys, so we got this first set done. This is just a standard dog proof raccoon set, and so there's the dog proof there. I used a 3-foot stake instead of an earth anchor, and one of the tactics that I'm gonna change from last year is, last year I would fill up the whole dog proof until it was running over the top, and my idea was, okay, that's drawing them in. But what I've realized over the trapping season last year and then dealing with a lot more animals this year is you don't really need to do that. So I put just enough to cover the trigger in the bottom, sprinkled just a little bit of corn around the outside, and put just a drop or two of fish oil, Lennon's fish oil, on the ground around the outside of the trap, and that should produce. It may not be on that one, but I know the raccoons are in this area, and they're in this area by the dozens, so that should be pretty good. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find another area real close by to put a trap in the dirt, a foothold, and try to catch a raccoon on one of those. I did it last season, I only got one catch, but I think I can do better this season, so stay tuned. All right. All right, guys, so here's raccoon set number 2. You can kind of see all this mess over here. This is where I've been having my deer come in, and I've had a few bears and stuff here, so we'll see what happens with this. But basically I put a Duke 1.5 double long spring in here, and then I just sprinkled some corn and dog food with a little bit of fish oil up on the backing there. I put the backing there just sort of so that they will have to, I mean, they'll step over the logs, I'm sure, but the idea was to make them come around this way, and then with the rock being there, make it so that they have to step over the rock right into the trap pan. I don't know if this is gonna work. Like I said, I had success with one of these last year, but we're gonna give it a shot and see what happens. I mean, worst case scenario is I'll come here and it'll be set off with no animal in it, or I'll come here and there'll be a possum or a raccoon. So yeah, we'll see. Now I've got one more raccoon trap to put out. I'm gonna put it right down here in one of the same spots that I caught last year, and then we'll be moving down to the cat set. And then once I get it, I'm gonna come back up and grab my trail camera, and we're gonna go back across the property to the other side where I caught the coyotes at last year, and set up some canine sets over there. And I'm gonna put my trail camera in video mode on those canine sets to see if maybe I can get some decent footage of how the dogs act when they come into the set, and where they urinate at, and how they dig and how they step. And I've got a pretty good idea. I've watched a lot of other guys YouTube videos of their trail camera footage, and that's what I based my traps off of last year. But I mean, dogs are going to be animals, dogs, canines, coyotes, foxes. All of these animals are going to be different depending on location. So I'd like to get a good idea of what they're doing here on my property where I'm trapping at. And I actually, on the way in, back up on the road over here a little ways, when I came out of the woods to cross the road, there was probably 20 turkeys standing in the road. And so I kind of want to get these traps going and try to trap out some of these raccoons out of here and some of these coyotes, so that the turkeys can flourish for this upcoming turkey season. And I know they live in unison here, because I've had cameras on my trail camera right here the same day, just a few hours apart, of turkeys being here, raccoons being here, and then later on in the night coyote being here. So I want to try to open up the woods here for these deer and these turkeys to be able to flourish for next season. So not only am I getting a trap, which I really enjoy, but I'm also doing a little bit of land management, so it's a win-win all the way around. You guys hang out. We're gonna come down here and set this next set, and then I'll get back with you. All right, so I just finished up my third set, and this was one of my favorite sets last year too. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a solid trail coming right down through here. And I know all the animals use this trail because I've witnessed it sitting in the deer stand. And so this trail's been here for, this is like probably the third year. And so what I did last year was I just came right off of this trail over here, and I've got a single long spring, 1 or 1.5 here, and I kind of built up some stuff along the sides. I'm in between these trees to keep them from being able to come in from the sides, so they'll have to come in from this direction. And then as an attractant or bait, I used a can of tuna. Last year I caught here with a can of sardines, but I didn't have any sardines handy, so I'm just going to use the tuna and see what happens. Sprinkled a little bit on the ground out of the top of the can just so I could put the nail through. And then I didn't open it that far because they'll have to work to get any out of there if they want it. And then so this, I was able to blend this in pretty well, but both of the sets that I've put in the ground as footholds so far, for whatever reason, probably just because I haven't done it in 9 or 10 months, I'm digging too deep, so it's kind of hard to blend everything back in. So I'm gonna try to work with the next set to not go as deep, and then even with the canines, I'm gonna try to get them done the right way as well. This will still work, it's just, it's not pretty, but I don't guess it's supposed to be a beauty competition. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna come back down here towards the corner of the property, and there's like an old washout over there that doesn't run water anymore. I haven't seen water run through it since I've lived here for the last 8 years, but there's some big boulders and stuff over there. And down at the bottom of the washout, I'm gonna see if maybe there's an area where I can get like a nice cubby set. I've got some feathers and stuff that I'm gonna put up in the tree to try to help draw in the cats. And then the bait and the lure that I ordered, the bait actually is supposed to be an attractant for fox, raccoon, coyote, basically any predator. The lure is mainly for coyote, so I'm just gonna use the bait on that set with the feathers. And from what I've read, cats are more of a sight predator, so seeing the feathers and stuff will draw them in there to it, but I'm sure they do use their nose as well. So you guys hang out. I'm gonna load this bucket up on my back and make the hike down in there to the corner of that property, and then we'll get that next set in the ground. Stay tuned. All right guys, so got the pack loaded back up on my back here, and we're on the hike up out of this valley. So what I've decided to do is wait to put that cat set out until tomorrow. When I come in the morning to do the checks for the traps I'm putting out today, I'll pack in more of those. I'll pack in the cat trap or the Duke #2 and the feathers and all. I have it with me today, but the issue is I've got another trap line. I'm sorry, I'm trying to check the time. This is noon, and I've got another trap line that I'm gonna set about an hour from here. And I need to go ahead and wrap up the trap sets here and get moving towards getting those sets in. It's not a huge deal, but we just want to get that going. So here's something that I wanted to show you guys, and this is just kind of really random, but check out these mushrooms here. And I've been watching these particular ones for a few weeks now, since I come down here pretty often. And so the scientific name is Calostoma lutescens. The common name, or the slang name, is lattice puff ball. So you can actually grab these from the sides like this and squeeze it, and it will make it will emit like a little cloud puff out of them. And so this is one of those species of mushrooms, or genuses of mushrooms, that there's not like a ton of information about. There's no known side effects if you eat them. However, that doesn't mean go eat them. The thing that I always harp on is, if you don't know, don't eat it. I mean, you need to know 100%. A recent little slang or slogan or mantra that I've heard in the mushroom community is don't munch on a hunch. So basically that means if you don't know for 100% certain, don't do it. Anyways, guys, we're headed back up to the top of this ridge. We're gonna top the ridge, drop down the other side, and set up 2 canine sets. I'm gonna do a double set. It's kind of a step down. I'm gonna do a set on the upper and a set on the lower, probably about 15-20 yards from each other. I'm gonna try to hit up on a double this year. This is a set that I caught in last year, so I'm just gonna go back to it and see what happens. All right, guys, stay tuned. All right, guys, so we made it up here to this ridge, and you see a pretty good view out through there. And there's this old road that goes actually back this way, and then it also turns and goes back around down there. At one point it had come up all the way up through here and then circled back down through there too. And so if you look, there's a trail that comes right through there and comes from down in those woods, and then it goes this way, follows the bank and goes out the road, and then eventually crosses a road over there on the left. And so this is where I set a trap last year, right here along this bank. I used the bank as a backing, and last year I put a flat set here, and I had an old at Thanksgiving I saved the ham bone and some slices of ham and let it basically let it taint out on the porch until December. And then I made a flat set and I put the ham bone there, and it took about, I guess, 5-6 days. But I had a really nice coyote come in and get right in this trap, and so I'm putting another set in here this year. Just did a dirt hole set there, and got my trap bedded. I just wanted to show y'all it's good and solid, no shake whatsoever. It's a little bit harder working with this stuff right here because it's clay, but we're gonna do dirt hole set there, and then I'm gonna do I'm gonna punch in 1 or 2 holes over here on the side for the lure and the long call, and then I may put a rock or something right here in the front to kind of guide his foot where to go. And then right down there where the road kind of flattens out, there's a nice spot right there with a heavy trail coming in from this side. I'm gonna put another flat set there, and I've got this old deer leg right here from a deer I killed about a month ago that I've been letting taint. I'm gonna use that as kind of an attractant for them. So I'm gonna get this set finished up, and I'll get back with you guys when I get that one down there finished, and we're headed back to the all right guys, finished up this trap bed, dirt hole. There's a little hole punched in there, there's another little hole punched in here. So I got my three meat Supreme bait with sheep's wool, and then I got a magnet or a lure and a long call lure. This one's pretty loud. And then I just kind of stacked some dirt up along the side. I'm actually gonna move this rock a little further back. So the idea is I can get this dog or whatever to place their foot right on my pan right there. And I think it's gonna work. Like I said, I caught on this same set before, and I'm gonna come right down here and put a second one in. I'm gonna make this a double, and then I'm gonna see if I can't find somewhere to hang my camera. It'd be kind of cool to see this happen. So you guys stay tuned. We get the next set finished, and that'll be it for this line on this property. And then we got to go about an hour north of here, set up another line. All right, so I got this last set in the ground that I'm gonna do for this trap line. Last thing I'm gonna do is this Cody urine. I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit on the back side of this dirt hole of this dirt hole set that I made up here at the top. So sprinkle a little bit there, kind of try to mask my scent, and also let any coyote coming in know that another dog has been there, and he'll probably want to mark his territory too. And so here's the flat set that I did, kind of blended it in a little bit, put a backing there. There's the old deer leg. Got a little bit of stuff on the side that's going to kind of try to make him come in from the front. So we're just going to go ahead and spray a little bit of this urine on that tree right there, and we're going to call that good. Now we're going to go back up to the cabin and load up some more traps in the bucket, load the bucket up into the car, and head north. We got another coyote line to put out. I'm going to put out at least 2, maybe 3 more canine sets, and probably 1 or 2 raccoon sets. They're having a really bad problem with coyotes. I mean, everybody everywhere is, but it's been pretty bad up in that area. There's a lot of chicken farms and stuff, so gained some permission to do some trapping up in there. We're gonna go give it a shot. Thanks for coming along. Catch you guys on the next one.